Hey everyone, this is Renee Frey from TalentQ, and you're listening to the Conscious Professional Podcast. More people than ever want to be happy in their career and personal life, but they're going about it all wrong. I'm here to set the record straight and emphasize the importance of prioritizing your mindset. I'm thrilled you're here. Hey everyone, I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving and you were able to gather with your loved ones and enjoy some scrumptious food. I hope you were able to enjoy some much deserved downtime from work. I'm currently wrapping up my annual gym challenge, so I had to pre-plan how I was going to handle Thanksgiving. The good news is there will be more Thanksgivings in my future, and my current goal that I'm working towards is so worth it. For my gym challenge, I stopped drinking alcohol back in September. This is only temporary as I love my red wine, champagne, and fine tequila. Can you tell I'm missing it? I am missing them so much. I've had to find some great alternatives to the booze, so I can pretty much say I'm an IPA water expert. I've tried so many of them. My ultimate fave is the Hoplark brand. When I go to parties or Vikings games, it's still nice to have something in your hand so I don't feel like I'm being left out. I'm so grateful for all the non-alcoholic options out there that are out and available now. I feel like the NA craze has taken off in recent years, and I'm so happy that I get to benefit from it. For the biggest non-alcoholic options, if you're interested, you gotta check out Total Wine. They have a huge variety to pick from. It's kind of crazy because in the past, during holidays, wine was always on the menu, and in addition to the taste, I loved it because it also took the edge off during family gatherings. Don't get me wrong, I love my family, but I'm sure a bunch of you that are listening can relate. Like me, you probably have a few family members who drive you a little bit batty because of what they talk about or what they bring up. And with my focus on personal development and growth mindset over the years, I've had greater awareness of how to handle stress in these types of situations now. If I was feeling stressed or pissed off about something, red wine was my go-to. It kind of melted away all the feelings, but actually all it was really doing was buffering or numbing the feelings I was having, which is not healthy long term. Now, without red wine, I must sit in my feelings, which I've learned so much about over the years. There are other ways to deal with my emotions versus reaching for the glass of wine. The key thing to remember is feelings are temporary, and you're in control of them. And you're also in control of how you react to things. When I'm in moments like these, family gatherings, or with people who don't lift me up, or they bring up stupid shit from the past, my technique is, I've got several of them. Compliment them on something, change the subject, or if it's appropriate, just laugh it off, or move and start a conversation with someone else in the room. I'm a direct person, and yes, I feel I'm able to be direct without coming across as harsh, which I've actually perfected over the years. I remember early on in my career, people asking me if I was from the East Coast. Have you heard this accent, this Minnesotan Midwestern accent? I'm definitely not from the East Coast. Honestly, I think I'm a direct communicator for two reasons. The first is my mom is deaf, and I grew up learning American Sign Language before I learned how to talk. This language is extremely direct. They use what they see to effectively describe their world. So if they're describing a person, they will give you details of their body stature. If they're skinny, in the middle, or overweight, it's not to offend anyone. They are just direct in what they visually see, and they're sharing that with you. The second reason I think I'm a direct person is I'm confident in myself. I don't mind what people think of me as I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm not seeking anyone's approval for my worth. I love who I am, and that allows me to be willing to express what I think and how I feel without hesitation. These reasons are why I feel I'm direct in my communication. My confidence is what I think allowed me to pivot from insurance sales into recruiting. See, when I graduated college, I graduated with a sociology degree, and at that time, I wanted to make the most money as possible in an effort to get my dad to notice me. That's a really long story, which I've shared in earlier podcast episodes, so I won't get into it here. While all my friends went to work for the government, I was like, the government does not pay the kind of money that I want to make. So I got into insurance sales. And this was way back in the year 2000. My car was my office. I had a map book. Yes, a book of maps. This is before our fancy iPhones. And what I would do every day is I would go door to door, business to business, asking for the controller or the business owner to see if I could quote their business insurance in an effort to earn their business. Then, after doing that during the day, I'd head back to our actual office and I'd make phone calls out of the phone book. Yep, there was actually a huge book with people's names and phone numbers in it. I know, I'm really dating myself here. There were changes at the insurance company that I worked for, so I was on the hunt for a new role. And I happened to tell my sister, who introduced me to her friend Audra. And Audra worked at a recruiting firm. And she invited me to come and talk to her about what type of job I was looking for so that she could see if she could help me. Well, my ideal job was to become a recruiter because my sister and I were at a party. And at this party, at the house we were at, it had automatic sinks like the ones you see in restaurant bathrooms. This was in their house. Yes, you can imagine. It was a huge mansion. So I asked, what do the parents do for a living? And the mom was a headhunter. Bam! Apparently, you can make a lot of money doing that. And because what could be better than helping people get pay raises and promotions, right? That's what I was thinking. Plus, I love people. So when I met Audra, she asked me what my dream job was, and I said, I want to be a headhunter. Well, lo and behold, they had an opening at the company. After a million round of interviews, I was offered the job. I immediately loved it. I was hiring temp and temp to hire people for mortgage and banking roles in the Twin Cities. It was fast-paced. Clients would call and say, we need 20 mortgage telesales people, and we'd have 20 people hired for them in a week. With hiring, we were also the ones that had to fire them, and that part sucked, especially when I had to lay off a whole auditorium full of people a few days before Christmas. I then jumped to the direct hire side of recruiting. So I didn't have to hustle day in and day out placing temps, laying them off or firing them. In direct hire recruiting, the company hires the person directly, and the candidate becomes the person they hire and becomes their employee. I was just the middleman. I loved my job more than ever before. I am such a curious person. I love to learn about people. I love learning what they do for a living, finding out what they would like to be doing, finding out how much money they make, how much money they want to make. I'm sure the reason I was able to make the jump from sales into recruiting is because I was confident and direct in my communication. How many people do you know can pick up a phone and call a complete stranger and either ask them if they're open to hearing about a new opportunity or ask them what their current hiring needs are? After having to cold call in person door to door or out of the phone book, recruiting was a breeze. However, there was one thing about recruiting that I didn't like, and I'll tell you why. I had a rocky childhood. My dad was an alcoholic, often absent and unavailable. Growing up, I kept many secrets about my dad, but always presented a smiling face to the world so no one knew what was going on behind closed doors at our house. What I noticed about the recruiting field was the industry's many secrets, which frustrated the hell out of me as it totally reminded me of my childhood. One of the big secrets that companies kept was that for each role, they have specific salary ranges that are budgeted, and most have an ideal target that they're trying to stay at or below so they can keep their budget in line. Sometimes, if you could find an outstanding candidate, the company might be able to go above their initial range, but we weren't supposed to tell people that. We were involved in all the interview recaps, so we knew why people were not a fit for the role. If someone was turned down for a position, we knew why, but we couldn't tell people to protect the company from lawsuits. Another big secret that companies don't tell you is that it's not the most qualified person who gets the job. It's the person who interviews the best. This means that your ability to effectively communicate your skills and your experiences often outweighs what's on your resume. Hiring managers are looking for someone who can clearly articulate their value, demonstrate confidence, adaptability, and alignment with the company's culture. Even the most talented candidate can be overlooked if they fail to connect with the interviewer or present their achievements in a way that resonates. On the other hand, a candidate who might not meet every requirement can win the role by showing a clear understanding of how they can contribute to the company's goals. Interviewing is all about storytelling and showcasing how your past experiences translate into future success for the organization. It's not just about what you've done, it's about how you present it. After I learned about these secrets and all the others, I vowed to be the recruiter who didn't keep secrets. My goal was to help people succeed by sharing insider knowledge and showing them how to achieve the jobs that they wanted and get paid what they deserve. So I took extra time to help them spruce up their resumes. After my interview with them, I would give them feedback and tips on how to improve their delivery. I'd give them a leg up to arm them with what they needed to win the job they wanted. Now, at recruiting agencies, the harsh truth was I was metriced on the placement dollars I brought into the firm. So it was very similar to how a sales team is measured. It was all about how many placements you could make. And since I was one of the top performers, they would consistently raise my goals year after year without caring about what was important to me. Over the years, I didn't need any more money. I was in it for the love of people. I loved learning about what companies did, what their goals were, what they were trying to achieve, and how they could achieve even more through hiring better talent. I was so passionate about helping people find jobs that make them jump out of bed on Mondays and get them pay raises that align with their values and how they wanted to be treated by an employer. Now, this is where some recruiters can be sleazy. And I'm saying this because I'm in the profession. I would say 10% of recruiters out there are phenomenal, like me, who care, provide feedback, provide white glove service, being transparent with communicating. The other 90% of recruiters suck. They're in it for the dollar. They will coerce you into taking a position or strongly influence you because their income depends on it, which is so gross. One thing I've held high on my list of values is integrity. I have a very different approach. If I reach out to you and you're interested in exploring a new opportunity that I'm working on, and you change your mind tomorrow, no biggie. I'll find more people. You weren't the right fit then. My goal in recruiting was to have a match made in heaven where the candidate loves their job and the company and leader who hired them equally loves them. That's what I mean by a match made in heaven. I always want it to be a win-win situation. When I saw the shenanigans that occurred at recruiting firms, it really pissed me off because I had integrity and I had a reputation to protect, and I wouldn't do anything to damage that reputation ever. That's when I started thinking about starting my own recruiting firm. As I started thinking about it, I knew recruiting firms were a dime a dozen. So how the hell would I set myself apart? Why would people want to use my recruiting firm over others? I had to have an edge. I had to go work for a huge corporate company and become a corporate recruiter. That's how I'd be able to see what goes on the inside. I could speak their language and learn how a Fortune 500 company hires people. So that's what I did. I went to work for Target Corporation. I was there for 7 years and saw the company inside and out, entire 360. It was a blast. I learned so much at Target. At Target, our metrics weren't just how many people we hired. It was so much more. Creating a recruiting strategy for each position. How many days did it take to fill a position? What was the interview to offer ratio? What was the offer to acceptance percentage? Diversity of the candidate slate, and ensuring top-notch candidate experience from start to finish. I wasn't just filling seats. I was solving complex hiring challenges and creating a seamless process that aligned with the company's long-term goals. I learned how to collaborate with hiring leaders to define success for each role, refine interview processes, and set clear expectations across teams. And Target, they hired the best of the best. Their bar for talent was super high. Once I got the experience I needed, I left Target to revolutionize the recruiting industry, and I started my own firm, TalentQ. TalentQ has become the one-stop shop for job seekers and companies needing to hire. We blow other recruiting firms out of the water. For most positions, we're able to present qualified candidates within 2 to 5 days. Everyone we send to our clients gets interviewed because they hit everything the company is looking for. How do we do this? Well, at Target, I was certified in behavioral interviewing. Hell, I even taught classes on interview certification at Target. I've taught my team how to interview like pros too, and that's what sets TalentQ apart. We don't just match resumes to job descriptions. We create meaningful connections between candidates and companies. Our mission is to provide white glove service that ensures both the candidate and client are thrilled with the new hire. Every candidate we help companies hire are thoroughly vetted, not just for their skills, but how well they align with the company's goals, the culture, the long-term vision. We are not here to waste anyone's time. We are here to save time, make hiring seamless, efficient, and impactful. When we do a kickoff meeting at TalentQ with our clients, we ask the hiring manager a plethora of in-depth questions. Some questions they say, "Gosh, Renee, that's a great question. No one has ever asked me that before," which I love to hear because I know it means that our client is going to be blown away by our service. I know the exact information that I need to gather from our clients so that I can translate it to my team and pinpoint the exact candidate profile that they are looking for. We are not here to waste anyone's time. We are here to give our clients their time back and present them candidates that match exactly what they're looking for and that checks all their boxes and meets all their expectations. After interviewing the candidates ourselves, we hand them over on a silver platter with a deep dive synopsis of our behavioral interview with them. So when you have recruiting firms that you're working with and they say all they need is a job description, I say, screw that. They are going to waste your time. You cannot effectively recruit for a job based on a job description. Now, I'm an expert in recruiting and I've been doing this over 20 years, which is how I know to truly make the hiring process effective. It's critical to sit down with the hiring leader to deeply understand their needs and objectives. It's equally important to identify who's going to be involved in the interview process and ensure clear communication amongst the interviewing team. Why? Because if each interviewer is evaluating candidates based on an entirely different criteria, the process becomes disjointed and ineffective. Aligning the interviewing team's expectations and the goals is the foundation for successfully hiring the right talent who can make a meaningful impact on your organization. There are so many nuances that are involved with hiring people. And when you allow a recruiting firm like TalentQ to help you walk through those processes, you will become 10 times more effective. You're going to have an exceptional candidate experience. You're going to know how to evaluate the candidates better. It's going to be a win-win all around, and you're going to save loads of time. And the person you hire is going to come in and make an incredible impact on your organization where they can help you save money, make more money, or significantly improve processes. When I look back on my journey, I can honestly say that everything from my days knocking on doors with a map book to navigating the metrics-driven world of recruiting agencies to my years at Target has prepared me to build the kind of company I wish existed when I started. At TalentQ, we lead with integrity, focus on relationships, and strive to change lives for the better. Whether it's helping a company find their next game-changing hire or guiding a candidate to their dream job. That's what makes me jump out of bed every single day and drives my passion for this industry. So if you're listening to this and you're looking for a new opportunity, or if you're a company struggling to find the right people, know that there are better ways to approach hiring and better ways to approach finding a job. And if you want to experience a recruiting process that's truly different, that's rooted in partnership, transparency, and delivering exceptional results, I invite you to reach out to me and my team at TalentQ. I'm also super excited to announce the launch of my new masterclass, Foundation for Limitless Living. This masterclass is designed for anyone ready to break through limitations and create a life that feels fulfilling and balanced, both personally and professionally. Throughout the masterclass, we dive deep into strategies for building habits, shifting mindsets, and learning practical tools that empower you to show up fully in every area of your life. I encourage you to join the waitlist to be the first to secure your spot. It's going to be an incredible journey full of insights, growth, and support from a like-minded community. You won't want to miss it. So the key points from today's episode are: not all recruiting firms are created equally. There are hidden corporate secrets that can make or break your chances of landing a new job. TalentQ has redefined the recruiting industry with unmatched speed, precision, and results. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Share this episode with someone you love and go make one change to be better than you were yesterday. Live your life with intention. I believe in you. I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible. So if you would, please hit the follow button so we can grow our community of conscious professionals. Whether you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can find the button at the top of the screen. See you next week. Cheers, everybody.